Far from its native homeland of the United Kingdom and Ireland, the gypsy horses, bred by the Romany gypsies to pull the colorful caravan wagons they traditionally call home, make their presence known in the heart of Texas. Owner, trainer, and Clinton Anderson Method Ambassador Jamie Laird, already very much in tune with reading a horse's personality and temperament, discovered special and desirable attributes in the gypsy horses, and has developed a solid and comprehensive program at a ranch and training facility to capitalize on those qualities. Jamie now shares her knowledge and skills with clients and visitors to the ranch. Welcome to Painted Thorn Ranch in Groesbeck, Texas, just east of Waco. Painted Thorn Ranch is a facility dedicated to creating and providing solid working partnerships with your horse. Using safe and proven training methods, they work to create the best partnership between you and your horse. What Jamie has learned about the Gypsy Vanners is how personable, easygoing, affectionate, and in your pocket the breed is. They're unlike many breeds. They enjoy the company of people. They want to be with you and do things together. They enjoy having a job. Genetically speaking, the Gypsy Vanner is comprised of 4 foundation breeds: the Shire, Frisian, Clydesdale, and Dale's Pony. Even though they are larger in size than a light horse breed, the Gypsy Vanners are still very athletic and perform and compete well in many equine sports and disciplines. They are exceptional riding and driving horses and make excellent companions for both youth and experienced horse people. Jamie shares what she's learned about the temperament of the gypsy horses and how that translates into an unmatched willingness to please found in the breed.
I would describe the temperament of a Gypsy Vanner that of a very broke quarter horse, and usually that is from when they are first born and definitely improves over time. I remember one time when I walked out and Loki, which is featured in the film, he was born and he ran right up to me. First day, hi, here I am, look at me, love me, love me, love me. And that is probably the best way to describe a Gypsy Vanner. They just want to be with you. They want to share your company. They're interested in what you're interested in. They're interested very much in making you happy and being a very good partner.
One of the important tools of training horses is the round pen, and Jamie discusses the importance and value of working in the round pen and how it increases your partnership with your horse.
What I was doing in the round pen with Legend is called At Liberty. And my goal with At Liberty is not to just let the horse run around and kick his feet up and have his own way. My goal with Liberty is to communicate with the horse through body language by asking him a series of commands and him responding to those questions with an answer. And what I'm trying to do is to draw my horse into me and then send him back away from me, but not all the way to the rail. Really, it increases the bond with your horse, it increases your partnership with the horse. If you can ask your horse to stay with you, but yet go out 2 or 3 feet, turn when you ask him to, yield his hindquarters and his forequarters, come to you when you ask him. It's a lot easier to drive your horse away than it is to ask your horse to be with you. And the more you ask your horse to be with you without having a bridle or a halter on him, the more willing that horse is to do anything you ask him when you are either driving or riding.
Painted Thorn Ranch is a comprehensive resource offering new boarding facilities, training services, an indoor arena, clinics, guided lessons on 20 wooden acres, and 80 open acres for training and riding, offering a total horse owner's paradise. There is probably no better breed of horse for youth to become involved with than the Gypsy Vanner. With its profuse mane and tail and feather from the knees down, it's an excellent horse for kids to learn grooming skills on, from brushing and combing to braiding manes and tails.
So, hand me the
With his affable and willing personality, kids can learn the value of line driving and groundwork in working with young horses. All of this groundwork leads nicely into carriage driving and saddle work. And as you'll notice, these young kids and future equestrians are both learning and enjoying working with this special breed.
Well, Gypsy Vanners are suited in almost any discipline that you can imagine. From undersaddle to carriage driving, you can use them in English or Western disciplines. Even in the Western discipline, there is the jumping and the trail riding and the English discipline. You have not the Olympic size jumps, they're a little short for that, but they certainly do give their best effort, and when asked to do something, they give you 110 to 20%. They don't ever give you less than that. They really enjoy their jobs, they seek to have a job, and if they don't have a job, sometimes they create one for themselves. But I've used my horses in multiple different ways. I've started driving my horse. I've line driver on the ground to get her started to transition over to cart. I've started my stud underneath saddle. We do a lot of groundwork before we even introduce a particular type of discipline, just so I can assess their athleticism. And in my experience, a gypsy really can do anything you ask them to do as long as they're interested in what you're asking them to do. You have to assess their personality. My Dolce, my filly, she really loves to ground drive. That is just her little corner of the world. She put her on her little training cinch and she's just out the gate, ready to go, wants to go do what we ask her to do, trots off, just as happy as could be, ears forward, perked up, beautiful. My stud, he's just getting comfortable under saddle. But he definitely loves to be with me. He loves to have a job. He likes to do what I ask him to do. He may not do it perfectly, but I know he's giving 100%. I don't blame all of his behavior on big old feather dusters.
One of the significant advantages of Painted Thorn Ranch is that Jamie is a Clinton Anderson Method Ambassador. And she discusses the value of these methods in her training program, and especially why these methods resonate with the Gypsy Vanner mind and personality.
What we've created here at Painted Thorn Ranch is a total equine center for a horse owner's paradise. What I want to provide people is a nice, safe, and friendly place for them to enjoy their horse. We offer boarding and riding and training. I'm a Clinton Anderson Method Ambassador, and I'm willing to help with any of your horsemanship needs, to include bad behaviors, troubles under saddle, troubles on the ground. I also like to provide very well-groomed and cared-for facilities, to include an arena and a round pen to work your horse. We also have open areas for riding and enjoyment, and groomed trails to include 80 acres of wooded trails with a creek in it. I really want people to feel invited. I want them to come out here and know that they can enjoy their horse to their fullest, that their horse is well cared for, that if they need help, they're not alone in their horsemanship journey. I get asked a lot why I chose Clinton Anderson as the horsemanship method that I follow. Well, about 9 years ago, my husband decided that he wanted to get into horses. And I was a horrible teacher at the time for him. And he started doing research, and he said, "Hey, I found this guy named Clinton Anderson. What do you think? Let's go check him out." So we went to one of his walkabout tours, and as I listened to Clinton, light bulbs went off. I was like, that sounds great. I agree with that. Wow, how did he know that that was my question? So the more we started listening to Clinton Anderson, a lot of our frustration with horses was solved. So we started using his method, and we saw great transformations with our horses. I became less frustrated. I looked forward to working with my horses more often. And I really started to be able to employ some of his methodology and be able to troubleshoot some of the issues I had with my horse without calling up my dad and be like, "Hey, I have this problem with my horse. Can you please help me?" So as I used the method and then I saw transformations with my horses, again, my husband, he encouraged me and he said, "Hey, well, what do you think about becoming a Clinton Anderson ambassador? You've taken a few of our horses that were relatively unmanageable and they're like kittens now. They just do basically anything you ask them to do." So I became a Clinton Anderson Method Ambassador. And what I like about the method the most is how clear-cut and stepwise its approach is to training a horse as well as training the human at the same time. It really talks about communication. It's not so much as you have to make the horse submissive to you, or you have to go do these maneuvers that require 5 different steps to get it done. It's method building, and it's stepwise. You take a horse, and this is the first step. I want them to yield their hindquarters. Well, there's a lot that goes into yielding the hindquarters of a horse. But what Clinton does is he sits down and he says, "Hey, step 1 is this, step 2 is this, step 3 is this, step 4 is this. And by the way, if you have problems, here's a list of things that you can do to try to solve the problem." And in building into the horse those different steps, the owner also learns how to effectively communicate with their horse through body language, through the use of different types of pressure and the release of pressure. And I find that as a human interacts with their horse in this manner, they develop softness, they develop feel, they develop timing, and they start enjoying the communication that they have with their horse. And this is really the reason why I like being Clinton Method Ambassador, is that I can help people develop this communication with their horse in a safe and effective partnership. Like with the Gypsies, they're a congenial, friendly horse. They have a willingness about them that wants to please their owner. And so with the method, it's very easy to work with that in order to get the best result out of them. So because they're so willing to work with their owner, and because they're so willing to please, when you use the body language with them instead of forcing them with tools to do something, they're much more willing to give back. I especially like using the method because of the body language aspect to it. When you ride a horse, you're trying to ride with body language, and you're trying to ride with the application and the release of pressure. Everything should come from the body. Ideally, we're trying to ride and communicate with our horse without any tools at all. The ideal goal in riding a horse in my mind is that I can get on my horse without any kind of tack, and I can work with my horse through any particular ground, riding obstacle, interaction with another animal, and I can ride this horse without any kind of tool. No reins, no halter, no saddle. And the method helps build that into your horse, and it helps build that skill set into you. When I work with my stud especially, as you saw in the round pen example, is that he and I were doing liberty. Well, there's no clear-cut way to do liberty. Liberty is a very individualized situation between you and your horse. Well, when I use the method, I'm actually building liberty into my horse. And you don't think about it that way, but if you start realizing that your horse can go off of a cue, such as looking at his hindquarters and tapping your finger, that's miles away from holding on to a halter and lead and using a stick and saying, move your hindquarters over, and having to tap him. But over time, and layering on the different exercises and building in that feel and timing and communication with your horse, you can eliminate that translation tool. You can eliminate your stick and your halter and your lead, and now you're really effectively communicating. He understands that when I look at his hindquarters, or I ask him for his forequarters to come over, or I send him off, he knows what I'm asking him to do, and then I can bring him back. The same thing is when I ride him. He knows that when I apply my leg with pressure and look with focus over to one area, he says, I know what that means. That means go to the right or go to the left. Or if I sit back and ask him to please stop, he'll rate down to a stop for me. And this is why I love using the method with the gypsies, because they're already willing to do what I ask. I just need an effective way of communication. And I find that the Clinton Anderson method is the most effective way to communicate with a horse.
With over 90 breeds of horses in North America, people have many choices of looking to become involved with horses, whether it's simply for pleasure riding, driving, competition, or wanting to develop a sound breeding program. Jamie discusses why viewers should take a deeper look at the Gypsy breed to discover what she's learned about this exceptional horse.
I think people should really pay attention to the Gypsy Vanner, not just because they're beautiful and have voluptuous hair and exotic colors, but more because of their personality. They really are invested in their partners, and they seek companionship with their families. They're like, in many ways, a lot of people compare them to a dog. A lot of they're in your pocket. They want to be with you. They want to please you, and they are loyal to you. I found working with my gypsies that if I ask them to do something and I give them the moment to figure it out, they are 100% invested in what I'm asking them to do, and they give me back more than what I give them usually. They usually compound whatever kind of affection I give them, they'll give it back to me. If I'm patient with them, they increase the amount of patience they give back to me, because I always make mistakes, and they're very forgiving on the mistakes I make. I find that the gypsies are very intelligent. I have one that likes to open gates, and I have to always try to figure out how to get her not to open a gate. And that could be putting a chain around it or changing the lock. I mean, she knows how to open a doorknob. So that gets a little tricky sometimes. If I'm not watching her, she'll open a door on me, and I have to kind of keep an eye on her for that. They're very amusing. They love to play. They if it's not bolted or tied down, they'll probably figure out how to pick it up anyway. But gypsies are just very enjoyable to be around, and they really just want to be loved by you, and they want to return the love.
If you're looking to start your journey with the Gypsy Vanner breed, Painted Thorn Ranch is an excellent resource for buying, training, breeding, equine education, and more. They welcome visitors with an appointment and look forward to helping you find your forever horse or improve your partnership and skills with your present horse. Discover the Gypsy Vanner at Painted Thorn Ranch.